Hey, what is up guys, this is Yusuf here from TECHDROIDS. Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today we're talking HTC's new flagship, the HTC U11 that launched yesterday, and I feel it's an incredible little device on paper at least. So it has a really good price tag that's really aggressive, and I feel it'll give the Apples and Samsung a really tough competition in the market. And if HTC can deliver on what they've promised on paper with the cameras, with the battery, and with just the overall end user experience of the phone, then HTC, you have one heck of a flagship this year. So that being said, let's get started with my opinions and my top features for the HTC U11. Let's get started. So let's talk design. So HTC has gone with their typical old design, the candy bar curved round corners design, but with a really unique choice of materials, metal and glass, which they did with the HTC U Ultra, and it was a mirror. Again, the HTC U11 is a mirror, but this time around they have aluminum alloy and Gorilla Glass 5 in full glory. So at the back you have it all covered, and at the front you have 3D curved Gorilla Glass 5. So HTC has a really good looking phone in 4 colors: blue, black, white, which is silver, and gray. So you have all these colors which are gonna look really good. Next up, let's talk hardware. So the HTC U11 has a 5.5-inch Super LCD 5 Quad HD display, which happens to have a 71.6 screen to body ratio. So you have some big chins, and I don't think HTC was looking for a bezel-less look either. You have a 16 megapixel camera and a fingerprint reader at the front built into the home button. And it's a really good normal simplistic design. The home button and the fingerprint reader are in the perfect place where they have to be. At the back you have a 12 megapixel f1.7 camera with OIS and EIS, which happens to at least have good specs on paper. And Samsung and Apple, look out, if HTC can deliver with this camera, which they haven't in the past few years. HTC 10 had a really decent camera, and if HTC has that really good camera which they're promising on paper, then HTC just got the best flagship of this year. Next up, you have a 3000 mAh battery powering this whole phone, which happens to be one drawback of this phone because it's a 5.5-inch display, Quad HD, all these big specs, and only a 3000 mAh battery. But it has a USB Type-C 3.1 port with a boom sound speakers at the bottom, and the earpiece doubles as one as well. And there's no headphone jack as the U Ultra, but HTC has a few reasons for it, whereas they didn't have in the HTC U Ultra. HTC is providing you their U-Sonic high fidelity hi-fi audio headphones or earphones in the box, which can take use of that USB Type-C port for extra power, extra impedance, and they also offer noise cancellation. So it happens to be a really good deal, and you don't have to spend on those earphones as well. HTC has some really good audio, and this phone also supports high fidelity audio if you have the right headphones to listen to it with. Next up, for specs, it has the Snapdragon 835 octa-core CPU with 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM, 4 in the US, 6 globally. It also has the fastest and the most powerful GPU in the market, which is the Adreno 540 GPU, clocked at 710 MHz. It starts with a base storage of 64 gigabytes and goes up to 128, which is expandable via micro SD up to 256 gigabytes. It has NFC and all the good glory in terms of storage and RAM. Next up, it will have HTC Sense UI on top of Android 7.1 Nougat, and that's it. It is priced at a price tag of only $650, which makes it really competitive against the Samsungs and the Apples, whereas LG's G6, which has a last generation processor, is even costlier. So I feel this is a this is a LG G6 killer in all means. But if you don't want those dual cameras, and if HTC can deliver with the cameras, LG, you have a bad day. Samsung and Apple, watch out. Samsung, especially you with that Bixby thing. But HTC, got to give them props. They have one of the best phones for this year right now, at least on paper. Next up, talk about the new intuitive features that HTC has come up with, that is Edge Sense. So suppose you have the phone, and if you have the sides of the phone, and HTC had made these sides and tops pressure sensitive. So you have a few new ways of interacting with the phone. So a short press can get you a camera app. Again, pressing on that will capture a photo. A long press will turn on the flashlight, and it's just a really intuitive feature that hasn't been implemented before. And if it happens to be anything useful, more than useful, HTC has one unique feature that will appeal to the market. And that's all about it. Those were my first impressions. My opinion on the phone is really good if they can offer on the camera and the battery life. If they get those two things right, HTC has a really good phone for this year. Please watch out for the full review. Subscribe to the channel, give this video a massive thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.